Hi, my name is Pat Casey, coming to you from Peak State Fit in Salt Lake City, Utah. We're a bike fit and sports performance company specializing in coaching for cyclists and endurance athletes of all walks of life, and also work with a lot of long course triathletes. What we're going to go through today is the mini band warm up. We have taken some time since our last video of this particular routine, and there are a few additional elements that we'd like to incorporate for our athletes and then bike fit clients and anybody who happens to have this video show up on their YouTube feed. So let's get started. We're going to start out with a mini band. I am particularly fond of the heavier resistance band. So these bands from Perform Better come in different colors. Black is the heaviest and most resistance. The blue is the second down. Then it goes green, orange, and yellow, I believe. But I'm going to use the black band today because I really want to break this one in. It's brand new. So we're going to put our mini band on. And our first movement, before we start adding any dynamics, is just going to be a nice isometric warm-up. So we're going to go through 10 founders. We're loading our hips, maintaining tension on the band. Our feet are going to be about shoulder width apart with the outside edges of our feet parallel to our mat. So we'll start on an inhale, use our measuring sticks to create a lot of space between the lowest part of the rib cage and the top of the pelvis. Exhale on your way out, engage your abdomen. Inhale on your way back in. And here we're looking for hinging of the hips. So we're driving the hips back, maintaining pressure to the band externally, and then maintaining this nice neutral lumbar spine. So we're not accentuating this anterior rotation, but we are maintaining good pelvic alignment up into our spine, all the way up to the crown of our head. So we'll go 5 more. Every time you stand up, pull that chin back, create some length in your back neck. Try to think big, tall, open space. This is very integrative. We're getting our glutes on board. We're getting our hamstrings a little bit lengthened. You might find that you're just getting a little bit of fatigue in the sides of those hips. That's good. We're just starting to warm that up. So I'm going to go through our series of monster walks now. If you have a long hallway in your home or any kind of open space that you can do this in, I prefer doing them continuously. However, you can see how wide my room is. I'm just going to do about 4 per side, and I'll do 3 rounds. So you can do them just on my cadence. You can do them and walk away, but I'll just start over here, and we're going to just go through these together. The big focal point here is maintaining, again, this pressure outward, but we're going to keep our feet as neutral as possible. Try to avoid external rotation where your toes are going out and your heels are going in. We really want to target that gluteus medius, our tensor fascia line, trying to incorporate good, accurate hip alignment and knee alignment. So we're not allowing that knee to cave in, leading with the foot. We want the knee and the lower leg in unison to drive the movement laterally. So we'll go 1 time back. I like to do this while I'm filling up my water bottles. Kind of makes things a little bit easier to incorporate into my pre-ride routine. So we'll kick that off. We're going to add this back, but I want to go to the floor first and do a little bit of isometric so we can work on internal hip rotation as well as, again, the external hip rotation while integrating hip extension. The reason why we're doing hip extension is because when we're on the bike, we are in what? a flexed position. So the more that we can activate and engage these posterior chain muscles, the lateral muscles, the stabilizers that are helping our knees track in this direction, the better we're going to feel. We're going to feel better when we start out the ride, and you'll very likely feel better at the end of the ride because you're going to be moving with accuracy. So lay down on the mat. If you have a foam roller, a yoga block is great because you have sort of these different widths depending on how wide your hips are or how much activation you feel at different widths of the Q angle from your hip to your knee. You can even use something like a massage ball or a medicine ball, light medicine ball if you have one. I have a block, so this is what I'm using today. Lay on our backs, and we're going to go through 10 bridge lifts, but with adduction. So adduction towards the body, squeeze the block, only about a 20% effort. We're going to create a nice closed kinetic chain with our fingertips off the line of the hips, and then again, moving on and exhale. Really starting this movement with engagement of that lower glute, and then press into a bridge lift. We shouldn't be hyperextending our spine here, but just start almost with the butt wink where you're squeezing the butt a little bit. Press into the heels, come up. Nice 3-second hold. Three more. I actually don't know how many that I did, so my apologies. I lose track of counting when I'm thinking about other things. Excellent work. All right. So you can add a lot of progressions with this block. We may do another video that incorporates some unilateral work, some single leg work, where you're trying to maintain control for the sake of warming up. Not important. I think it's nice to get some unilateral warming up, which is what we're going to incorporate the band for. So now I'm going to add the external rotation with the glute stability. So we're just going to add the band back. I like to keep it around. You kind of get some mechanical advantage being a little bit higher. The goal is obviously proximal stabilization, closer to your axial skeleton or closer to your pelvis. Again, feet are going to stay about hip width apart. Slight internal rotation here. We're going to maintain this pressure outward. So I'm using the lighter band, but this is just so I have a little better control over it. Now we're going to do 20 seconds with 10 seconds rest. So we'll just come up together, nice inhale. And maintain this external pressure, but keep the feet planted. Think big toe, pinky toe, and heel are creating good amount of pressure. We're feeling a little bit of that fatigue or that activation going on in our glutes, high hamstring maybe. If you're not feeling that, think about pulling those feet towards your hips, towards your body. Get a little bit of traction going on. You should be able to feel a little bit of that, more of that engagement of the hamstring in a concentric fashion where you're going from long to short. All right, so 10 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Again, pressure outward, pull the glutes in. Come into that bridge lift, nice and stable. Ten seconds. This is another one I really enjoy adding a little bit of isolated movement to, but to keep it simple for today, we're just going to do this as a nice flow. So again, pre-ride warm-up, not a workout, just getting things turned on and activated. 3, 2, 1, up. Maintain that pressure. And if you want to get creative, you can always add in the adduction part with this amount of isometric. If that felt good to kind of squeeze the adductors, take away a little bit of that residual gluteal tension that you probably experience from your job, from sitting in the car, from sitting at home. Very good. All right. So we're going to add a little bit of movement with the band. I do like to have this band on the feet. We're just going to activate hip flexors now, lower abdominal muscles. Starting point for this, so we're not coming forward too much. I want you to think about just keeping those feet about hip width apart. We're going to hinge the hips back to create a nice stable platform. So think about nice contact in the feet. If you have your shoes on already, that's okay. You can actually kind of loop that band around your cleat. And then we're just going to do 10 nice and slow single leg marches. 4, 5, 6, nice. 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching sides. And then we'll go to our knee extension. I'll add in a seat for this. So I'm sitting in hip flexion and then adding just a nice controlled isometric knee extension with the band. And we'll just do 6 per side on that. And then good to go. I think this is 10. Excellent. All right. The height of the seat should not be too low. Higher is probably better, but something where you can maintain about a 90-degree angle in the hips, the knees, and the ankles. So again, we'll put our band on. I can get a little more range with this lighter band. And again, it's all about neuromuscular control and maintaining good alignment, not having a lot of rotation when you're moving through these patterns. So it's kind of nice to have different weights of band. So we'll go 6 per side. We're going to go 3-second hold. If you can only do 2, that's okay. Still tons of benefit. So we're going to just extend the knee. We feel that quad activation for 3 seconds. Again, you don't need a ton of this, but as a cyclist, we do get a lot of dysfunction across this plane of fascia because it's almost always shortened. And so going into your bike ride with a little bit of accuracy and activation, we can prevent the onset of pain. We can prevent the tendencies that a lot of us have to compensate and rotate at the hips in order to accommodate for any kind of functional discrepancies we have in our bodies. This is again not like overly analytical, just get everything turned on. If you're dealing with pain, go see your local PT, someone that can help you manage and maintain and give you a nice routine that's going to help you specifically for your individual needs. But that's a nice global activation routine before you get on the bike. If you want to go through 2 rounds of that, you can definitely do it. It can get a little more strenuous when you get to 3 or 4 rounds, but great stability work, great activation. And that, my friends, is your mini band warm-up routine.